Yep, this was a bad idea. Mario, an iconic plumber that has been a household name ever since first appearance on the NES in 1985. But it wasn't his first game on the NES that got me into Mario. See, for me, it all started on the Game Boy Advance SP with the re-releases of Super Mario Bros. 2, 3, and World. I really had it all as a kid. Later in life, I got a GameCube and played tons of spin-off games with Mario, not Sunshine, and not Luigi's Mansion, oddly enough. And then I got a DS for New Super Mario Bros. Then I got a Wii U, and then other systems. Now fast forward to today, and I have 3 Nintendo systems, each with Mario games and an Xbox with a lot of third-party support. So wait a minute, why am I here with 3 Nintendo systems with Mario games? Well, it all started when I tweeted this out a couple hours before the summer 2023 Nintendo Direct. And this happened. I did not have a reaction for it since I was very sleepy and I didn't want to do anything about it, so I just said, screw it, let's do this challenge. And that paved the way for my summer. With Super Mario Bros. Wonder coming out soon to the Nintendo Switch, I want to be the best damn reviewer for that game. And that's why I decided to impose on this dumb challenge. And with Mario's legacy fresh on my mind, I was gonna do this with a lot of elbow grease. So my goal was simple: complete every single mainline Super Mario Bros. Title. No spin-offs, no titles that start certain spin-offs, and if I don't have access to a specific version, the port or remake of it would suffice. Also, I got this Bianco ZMN video. I really like it. Please subscribe to him, he's really good. So what are the rules for this challenge? Well, the rules are simple. Just beat the games as fast as possible. Any speedrun strategy wouldn't be used here, and I will only use the official emulations of the games, such as Nintendo Switch Online or the Virtual Console on the Wii U and 3DS. No other emulation, because that would be piracy. And I won't be doing 100% because I don't hate myself. Well, only slightly. Also, here's something funny. Added realism. Since this challenge was happening when I was in a construction site at my house, there's a reason why this challenge took me a week. If I did this in one sitting, I would probably be able to do this in a couple days, but because realism and real life are always in the way, yeah, it took me a week because life happens. Yeah, I'm insane for Mario. Day one was going alright as I was prepping up for a soon-to-be hell of a challenge. To be honest, I did not plan out how long I would be spending on this challenge, because I didn't know how long all these games would take me. But I was optimistic. Like a friend of mine on Discord, she believed in me. She believed I could do it within a week. So with that encouragement, I went into the first game with some confidence. I don't have every single game physically, because if I were, that would have been a nightmare. So, most of them are not physical. However, I do have some physically here, and a few over there, and a few on my 2DS that's going to be on my desk over there. So, 21 Mario games. The more I think about it, the more I think this is going to be an extremely bad idea. Super Mario Bros. Is Mario's first debut on a home console that does not include a monkey trying to kill him, or him killing a monkey, or having to work minimum wage for his life. The first Super Mario game was released in 1985, prompting kids to get both this game and the machine that came with it, the NES. Now, what do I think of this game as I speed ran through it? To be honest, it was good. The story goes a little something like this. One day in the Mushroom Kingdom, a giant lizard named Bowser turned the citizens into brick blocks, with the only hope was Princess Peach. But Bowser kidnapped her, and it was up to Mario to save the day. Yep, that's the entire Mario series storyline in a nutshell. What made the original Super Mario Bros. Fun was it established what a game should be. It should be fun. And I think it's succeeded at that. You know the game is good if some universes still use it as a good example for good video game design. Speedrunning this game is probably the single most memorable speedrun. The secrets are not that hard to find, some levels were just a cakewalk, and exploring Bowser just by running as soon as he spawns in is just funny to me. So in a tier list setting, the original Super Mario Bros. Gets a strong B tier. There are still things wrong with it, but I'll give it a pass since this was the first game after all, so there's a lot of room to improve in future titles. Also, something to keep in mind is that I already completed these games except for 3 of them, so I already have a good idea on how every game I played during the challenge. So if anyone says I skipped a game just to skip and not appreciate it, let me remind you that I have played these games before, so playing these games fast won't affect my opinions on them too much. I'm just doing a dumb challenge because I forced myself into it by a single Twitter bet. The internet sure is interesting. Yes, after almost, what is this? 40 minutes. I'm starting to think this might be a bad idea. Yay. Time to move on to the next game. Oh god. Super Mario Bros. Lost Levels, aka the true sequel to the first game. Released back in 1986 in Japan, the game was getting some ground as a sequel. It was then ported over to other regions under its new name, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. The reason it was called The Lost Levels was because Japan thought Super Mario Bros. 2 was too difficult for us people here in the West. I mean, to their credit, it is pretty difficult, but at least we got Lost Levels in the flesh. This game got one thing right, the difficulty. There are a few differences with some textures like the ground, a few items, but overall the experience is the same as the first game. Granted, this game was a bit harder to speedrun, but I still had fun with it. Although I was going through secrets that like we did in the first game, they are just way more cryptic than the original for some odd reason. Well, the story is the same as the first game, but to be fair here, people play Mario games to have fun, not for stories. If you're here to play Mario games for story, just play Paper Mario at that point. So the tier list saying Lost Levels would be on par with the original, as the only thing it changed was the difficulty, which was a nice plus for a sequel. Another game done. Third game. Time for the fourth one, I guess. Oh god, help me. Super Mario Bros. 2. The West's sequel to the original Mario Bros. Was it actually good? I don't know. Released on the NES outside of Japan in 1988, it was a reskin of another Japanese game called Doki Doki Panic. While it did give the likes of new enemies, characters, settings, bosses, and items, all that came second to its gameplay. If you play this game, then you know how clunky the controls can be. If you think it's not, then you're either a psycho or we did not play the same game. You can jump well in this game, the run button and the grab button are the same, making for some accidental throwing, not to mention that some platforms just don't exist for some odd reason. Nintendo, what are you doing here? While I can appreciate the effort of reskinning a game and selling it to us Westerners as a new game, I can't help but notice that it was going to be a bit wonky, and it was not controlled very well. But the only praise I can give it is the final boss being the most normal thing in this game. I mean, it's a giant frog that attacks with bubbles, and his name is King Wart. How can you not like him? Oh, and the fact the entire game is a figment of Mario's imagination. So, wrap your head around that nonsense. So yeah, this is a weird game for it to be a canon sequel to a Mario series. Yep. Speedrunning this game was probably the most confusing thing ever, considering that many of the secrets, bosses, and characters to optimize it are just too many for my little head to wrap around, and the fact that almost all of it was just annoying to speedrun. It was not fun for me. But on tier list setting, I will give this game a C tier. While it did bring new stuff to the series, to be quite honest, I don't think it subsequently be a true sequel compared to Lost Levels. It's a solid game, but it's not a solid sequel. That's all I can say about it. Another game done. I especially hate that one right there. Oh my god. Oh my god. That was almost 50 minutes of my day gone because of this game. I think I can do it. I think I can do this. 2 down, about like 19 to go. Okay, so now we're getting to the good games, like actual good games, not like ironically good. Super Mario Bros. 3 was released in the same year as Super Mario Bros. 2, the US version. But this Nintendo actually said, hey, let's try to make a good game this time. And they made this masterpiece. Yeah, Nintendo are the true masterminds here. Super Mario Bros. 3 added not only the fact that the levels have way more design and depth to them, but also new items, including the Tanuki Leaf, which is by far the best item in Mario so far. Outside of that, the textures have never been better at the time of the release, making Mario look good, enemies look good, even making Bowser look like an actual monster. Like, he looks really good in Super Mario Bros. 3. All of this in the same year as Super Mario Bros. 2, which, let me remind you, is a weak sequel in the grand scheme of things in Mario. Anyway, this game was sort of odd to speedrun. Rather than taking some weird pipes in the underground like past games, you use 2 warp whistles and you just play World 8 normally, which is funny to say the least. For the story, the game is at least consistent with Lost Levels in the original. It does introduce the Koopalings, who would be recurrent bosses in some games, but I did not have to face any of them in the speedrun, which is funny to me. On that note, I would place this game as a solid S tier. While it does have a few problems, like the fact that this game has some of the most cryptic secrets in the Mario series to date, this game is still great. I would not be surprised if in the future I speedrun this game much more often than I do, because it's just a fun game. Oh my god. Let's go. 4th game done. 17 more to go. Yep. This is gonna take me a while. Well, time for the 5th game. Wait, there's a Game Boy Mario? Super Mario Land is one of the few games that I have not played before, so going through it blind was fun. And ignore the footage here. The footage here was hard to get on a 2DS, and mine is not modded, so I don't have the fancy things to help out with this. So I'll add some footage from other YouTubers and give them proper credit. Just know I did complete this game though. Regardless though, Super Mario Land was an enjoyable game on the Game Boy. The game was released on the Game Boy in 1989, a time when the system was just starting out with it being a very underpowered machine. Super Mario Land was created to have such limitations. With what Nintendo had to go with, the game was still a joy to play, and it introduced 2 very special characters. Those characters being Princess Daisy of Suarez Land and Tatanga, a weird alien. This is the first time we ever saw Daisy. It wouldn't be until Super Mario went for her next mainline debut. Why did it take her this long to get another mainline debut? While she was mostly a character in the spin-off side, she wasn't a big character in her original game either. She was more of a throwaway character in a different kingdom besides the Mushroom Kingdom, just so that way the setting could be different, just like with Super Mario Bros. 2, the Western version. And Tatanga is just an alien that just said, I'm gonna take over Sarasland and just be that. The only other thing about this game is that the speedrunning it was not complicated at all. In fact, I feel like everyone can do it. It's just a normal playthrough of the game. The game is very short, with only 4 worlds with 3 levels in each one. It says a lot about the game. So for Tela, I had to give this game a C tier, as it was not a bad game for the Game Boy. It was a bit too short for my liking. Not to mention introduced a new land with new characters, perfect for a sequel game. So overall, I liked it. Just, I wish it was a bit longer. That's that done. Well, time for the next game. Super Mario World. The one game I know the most because it is the one game I played a lot as a kid. Released as the first game on the Super Nintendo in 1991, the game was met with high praise, and it was clear to see why. The setting this time was set in Dino Island, or Dino Land, I forgot what it was, but it was one of those two, and it was funny because it just makes the setting a lot more interesting than the Mushroom Kingdom. Overall, this game got a lot more of a makeover than past games. Introduced new enemies, new items. Look with the cave feather. God, I love the cave feather so much. Bring it back, Nintendo. It's the best item ever. New music, and of course, in the crown and jewel himself, Yoshi. Speedrunning it though was a weirdly different story. Okay, so I already had a vague idea how to beat this game, but it was funny to go through it once I learned how to do it. So it goes something like this. You go through the first world normally, then you go through the Boo House. Go through the secret exit, and then you get to the Star World. Find all the secrets in here, until you eventually make it to the Dark World Star, which happens to be right next to Bowser's Castle. Like, that is completely random and it's so completely fast. Anyway, the game is fantastic. I loved this a lot as a kid, and I still do it as an adult. There's a reason why I still use this theme in Super Mario Maker. You know a sequel is good if it makes the previous games look like a joke. If you say otherwise, then you are wrong. Play this masterpiece. So I would easily put this game in S tier, as it's one of the best Mario games of all time, and it has not lost its charm in the slightest. I love this game, and you should replay it, or if you haven't played it, you could go play it. It's really good. Nah. Oh my gosh. Another one done. I guess let's go to the next one. I lost count at this point. I legitimately lost count. It is currently almost 5:40. And I've only gone through 5 games. I'm going to hate this. Hey look, it's the other Mario game on the Game Boy, but this one is good? Question mark? Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins was released in 1992 on the Game Boy. This was the year that Mario faced his greatest rival in gaming history. What, you thought I was gonna say Sonic? No, I was talking to the obvious fat yellow man named Wario! Okay, but this game was in a totally different direction than the first one, as it was evidenced by the bundle of new items, new enemies, new areas, some unique ideas for levels, some catchy music, and of course, Wario being Wario. The fact that you collect 6 golden coins to unlock a castle at the end of this is just genius to me. Truly a revolutionary way to play a video game. I mean, it's really the title of the game, but what do I think about it? I think I liked it more than I should have. The fact that there is an item here that has a Tanuki Leaf in 3, and a fireflower that is actually a fireflower, this game was fun. Speedrun this game was a bit like the original land game, where I just play the game as fast as possible and just go through the game normally. The story here, I'm gonna be honest, I did not pay attention to the story too much. Like, I think Mario got a castle and we need to restore it from Wario, I guess? I don't know, I didn't pay attention too much to the story. It was weird. Overall, I'm putting this bundle of a mess in A tier, unironically. Ironically, it is the most broken and claustrophobic game I've probably ever played in my life, as a lot of the levels feel short and a bit boxed in, but at least I don't want to pull my hair out like Super Mario Land, so 6 golden coins is just a lot more better in my opinion. Oh my gosh, I did it. Another one done. I think from this point on, we really are getting to the hard games, because the next one, according to Mario Wiki, it is Super Mario 64. I am... Oh boy! Okay, I'm going to say this right now. Super Mario 64 is not good. Objection! Okay, so why is this game not good? Well, let's start from the very beginning. The game came out on the N64 in 1996 as the first game for this new hardware. It brought a lot of what 3D games would come to be and gave us a glimpse of the future. Everything seemed happy and bliss. But that doesn't make it the best. This is sort of the thing that happens in the gaming industry, mostly with series that had 2D games in the beginning. Take for example Final Fantasy VII and The Legends of Ocarina of Time. Are these games the greatest in their respective series? No. Are these games the most innovative? At the time of the release? Yes. But just because they are the most innovative in their series doesn't make them automatically the best games in their respective series. Like I said, it's good if a game innovates in the series. That's the beauty of video games. But just because a game just became 3D after a long stream of 2D games, it doesn't make it the best. I'm just gonna be real, it doesn't really make it the best. One thing I cannot handle with 64 is the controls. This is the most finicky game in the series to date. More clunky than Super Mario Bros. 2, and more clunky and broken than Super Mario Land 2 6 golden coins. I mean, it's great that Mario's movement is taken into consideration when going from 2D to 3D. I applaud it. Hell, I respect it. But goodness, these controls don't match well with the game. Case in point, the levels. A lot of the levels are just straight up unforgivable. It gives Lost Levels a run for its money. These levels are not designed well with the player in mind. Like, we can expect these kind of level designs in Mario Maker with trolls, and this is kind of the level design I would imagine if we get a 3D Mario Maker. I feel like Nintendo at the time was just making the most bullshit levels possible, and I think I'm right about this. Another thing about the levels is that they are just straight up just forgettable. Like, people only remember the first few levels in 64, but not the second half. I must ask this right now, who here knows all the levels in 64? If you raise your hand, you're wrong. And people actually like this game? And people say that Sunshine's level design was bad? Jesus Christ, the Mario community is insane. This was at a point if doing this marathon was even worth it, as I really questioned my mental insanity on this challenge. I had died in this game more times than any other, and I was starting to contemplate life. But then I remembered that I'm a Mario fan, goddammit! And I got the blessing of Super Mario Odyssey signed by Charles Martinet himself. If I back down now, I will regret it as a Mario fan. But that wouldn't be the case since sleep was getting to me. As I woke the second day of the marathon, I decided to finish this game, which then became the most boring thing ever. Just going around looking for stars was a painful chore, and people like this game? How do you people like this game? This is just boring. And after beating Bowser in the most boring way possible, I completed this hell within 2 days. As I begin to start my way to the next game, I then decided that I hated this game. So tier list wise, I am putting this game in the lowest tier possible, trash tier. I mean, the music itself couldn't save this game. I'm sorry, that is how much I hate Mario 64. If you dislike the video because of this opinion, that's fine. I don't mind. I will not pretend to say that this game is the best Mario game. Maybe at its time it was, but we got like 11 more games to go through. I'm just hoping I have some fun in the next game. I talked badly about Super Mario 64 on the internet before, and I'm not gonna stop because it's just, I need to voice it. People, you need to get out of the gutter. You are not, don't be sheep. Just don't be sheep. Stop being sheep. After almost a day, an entire day. Why did it take me an entire day? That's it. That's it. That's the game. Let's go to Sunshine. Or at least I think it's Sunshine. I don't know. Next game, I guess. Oh man. That is the worst experience I've ever done in my life. Ever. So this game came out the same year I came to existence. So having a weird history should be a good sign, right? The issue? I did not play this game growing up, because I was too busy with the sports titles, Melee, and Sonic the Hedgehog becoming a werewolf, for some reason. But after years and years of holding this game back, I played this game when it came out on 3 All-Stars. What do I think about it after playing it for the marathon? Truth be told, I liked it a bit more than I thought. The thing I thought I was gonna hate was how FLUDD controls. But after playing and getting used to it, FLUDD isn't that bad. Mario's movement in this game was solid too. I was sad to find out that there was no long jump for some reason, as that could have helped with some of the jumps here and there in this game, but that's my only critique with the movement, and everything else is pretty good. The levels and shines were a bit odd in this one. Sure, the red coin shines are a bit messy, and some levels can be a little underwhelming, but overall the levels and shines were solid. The biggest area of fun was the floodless levels, where you go through some good old-fashioned platform. Some were easy, others were not so much. The story was somehow decent here. Mario and Peach go on vacation on an island called Delfina. After some misunderstanding about the court of law and a bit of racism, the court decided that Mario must clean up the entire island of all the paint. That just sounds like a Splatoon subplot. But oh no, Peach gets kidnapped and now Mario must rescue her. Obviously the story is a bit deeper than that, but who cares about the story of the Mario game. But given that I was having some fun with this game after the hell that is 64, I must admit, sometimes it's a little bit underrated. I can see why some fans hate it, but I will defend the game for the shortcomings. Speedrunning this game was just odd. Getting the 7th shine in each level seemed weird, but it was an alright thing to appreciate back then since it's a step in the right direction, as it inspired the star progression in the Galaxy games. The game did take me a while to beat, but that was also because life was getting in the way and construction site was also a factor of the challenge as I continued the game the next day to beat it. With day 3, I want to do one thing, beat as many games as possible. But that wasn't going to happen if I don't beat Sunshine. So after the most anticlimactic battle with Bowser ever told, with a mega emotional scene with Flood, I finished the game. In Tela's ranking, I will give Super Mario Sunshine an A tier. The game was dang solid with themes, levels, music, Flood, Mario's movements, and like I said, the only critique was Mario's movement, which if it included a launch up, I would have liked it a lot more. But other than that, the game was fun, I had fun, and probably younger me would have liked it if he played it a long time ago. Not until for a few years, Bowser Jr. Because the next one is Super Mario 64 DS.
Me, Mario. Mario.
Okay, so this one might be a little bit confusing on why it's here, but let me explain something. I did not say stuff about remakes that give the original a fresh take on its game. Super Mario 64 DS was something different as it added 4 characters to play. This makes this version 64 different from the original. It also came out at a weird time. Not in a way that doesn't make it sense, but in a way that it's almost likely to become a best-selling game. The game came out in 2004, the same year the Nintendo DS entered the world, and for its first Mario game, it was inevitable that it would sell very well. So what did I think about this game? In short, it's not bad. The thing that is holding it higher and mightier than the original was that I have a nostalgia with this game, but I did not let nostalgia get in the way. Mostly. It did help a lot knowing that I just completed 64 a couple days ago, so all the stars throughout the game were still fresh in my mind. The biggest difference was this: the characters make up for the shortcomings of and hell of 64. Yoshi was the most floatiest and flexible as he can take all the hats in the game. Mario is the most rounded character as he should. Luigi is the most agile and has the most highest jump in the game possible. And then there's Wario, who is just the slowest but also the strongest, able to destroy the toughest structures. This mixed bag of characters gives 64 a neat way to play the game, and this is why I like this version of 64 better than the original. Sure, controls are whack, the story is practically the same, and there isn't much new content outside of the few special areas to unlock the characters. But I enjoyed it as it gave me more reasons to explore the levels. I will vow to say that I loved this game in my childhood and the younger me was in the right direction. If you think this is the worst remake possible, you haven't played enough video games then. I will stop pretending that this game is bad, because this game was arguably better than the original. Like, a lot of the stars are easier to get, some stars are new to this game, and completing this game feels more rewarding than the hell 64 puts on players. And no, I will not stop talking about 64 being Mario hell. Y'all need to wake up and realize that 64 is not that great. But as you can tell, this game also took me a while to beat, because life in a house in construction can do that, and being dragged to dinner parties. So I reluctantly passed down my bed and prepared myself for the next day. Knowing that I am on day 4 of this marathon, I was really wondering why I'm doing this to myself. No one paid me to do it. No one forced me to do it. I think that I have the entire Mario legacy on my back. As Wonder comes out, it'll make me appreciate these games more. On that note, I need to play 64 DS in the same fashion as the original and prepared myself for the next game. I also want to mention that speedrun this game was non-existent for me, mostly because I don't want to figure out the route for the 70 star run, and that I'd rather speedrun anything else than 64 or its remake. As I thought about it more, I thought maybe I was being a little harsh to 64. Maybe I am a little bit of an asshole. But then I realized I was talking about 64 DS. I'm giving 64 DS C tier. More fun than 64, still had a lot of problems. I am most likely going to change my mind in the future with this game, but no time for that. I still have 10 games to get through. Jesus Christ, help me. No more 64. Yes! No more 64! Yes, no more! I'm free! I am free! I'm free! I am free from 64! Oh my gosh. Okay. But I think I know what's gonna happen next. News to my brother's time. Okay, now we are getting somewhere. The series that started my love for Mario platforming. New Super Mario Bros. DS was released on the DS, that's a lot of DS, in 2006. The next 2D game after like 3 3D platformers. But the game was welcomed and loved by so many players, so it's hard to realize that it started the greatest way to play Mario. The story is a bit straightforward, with Bowser attacking the castle and Bowser Jr. kidnapping Peach while Mario was looking at Peach's castle. Yep. That is the entire story of this game. It's just that simple. The spirit of this game was not that hard, and only going through like 4 worlds was not that difficult. But before anyone says that I did not play the game right, let me say this. I did love this game a lot as a kid, and it was still fun to this day. Am I wrong for speedrunning these games? I don't think so, since I played these games a lot as a kid. But enough talk about morals. I like playing this game. The fight on Bowser was probably my favorite, as it really gave up that epic final fight against Bowser and Bowser Jr. Outside of that, the game was pretty good. Mario's movement in 2D after some 3D modifications is such a joy. Wall jumping, ground pounding, triple jumps, etc. feel amazing. Eyes were a notch change of pace too, but not everything can give credit to the level design. The levels here are just a fun challenge. No matter what, the game always gives you something new and interesting to do, making this game the most memorable 2D game ever. I can talk more about New Super Mario Bros., but I won't because I still have a bunch more games to go through, so just to save time, I'm slamming this sucker to S tier. If you played this game, you will understand, and if you haven't, well then you haven't lived to play an actual good Mario game. Yes! Yeah! That was being within an hour. This is where the games get easier for me, because this is where I have the most experience in. And I don't know why it's dark outside. Why is it dark in my room? So, funny story. I had never actually played Super Mario Galaxy before 3D All-Stars. I just didn't see the reason because I got the sequels. But when 3D All-Stars came out, I decided to play it and beat it. And then I did it again for this marathon. What's the verdict on both of those playthroughs? I loved it. What made me love the Galaxy games a lot was basically everything about it. Let's go through it one by one. Firstly, Mario. So his movement is not as limited as he was in Sunshine, but not as flexible as 64. But movement is solid for what the level design offers. His newest companion is Baby Luma, which gives him the spin ability. You can use this move to have more airtime, fix some mistakes in platforming, combat, you name it, is probably being used in this game for that reason. Secondly, the theming. At first, the game does not look any similar to Sunshine, but the way the theme and art style clash together just makes a beautiful creation. Like everywhere you go, this game can be a desktop wallpaper. A lot of the design comes to how pretty the game looks, even for its time on the Wii. Thirdly, the music. Okay, I love to listen to video game music a lot, so if the music is great in a video game, chances are it's going to go to my playlist. The music in Galaxy, and in a sense Galaxy 2, are phenomenal. I cannot go without hearing something so magical and so enchanting that I just want to stop playing and just enjoy the music. The orchestra really nailed it here. Props to the people behind it, props to Koji Kondo and others. You guys are doing God's work here. Fourthly, the story. Okay, so this one is mostly on the first game, but what Galaxy 1 had was a pretty solid and somewhat serious story for the first time in the Mario series. I mean, just look at the opening scene of the game. The tone of it is just screaming seriousness. And this game came out in 2007 on the Wii. The game was ahead of its time for sure. The only nitpick about this game is that some levels are a little bit forgettable. But considering how many games Mario has and the number of levels in each game, I would not let that nitpick come out too much. Speedrunning this game was just a normal playthrough, just sort of sped up. A lot of it was getting all the early stars, so that way I only had to do like 1 or 2 stars in the late game galaxies. This strategy worked much better than I thought, and I was able to get to Bowser and finish the game within a day. So for the tier list, I'm putting this game into the S tier. Not much to add to my points from before for this game, just wish that the levels were a bit more memorable. It may make the music readily available online for everyone to enjoy. After that, the game is a masterpiece. And with that is Mario Galaxy. The first one at least. Whew. They might have to get some rest and start the next game tomorrow. And I woke up on day 5 with one goal. Just beat these games as fast as possible. Time was running out, and I wanted to complete this marathon as soon as possible before my brain gets destroyed. And we come to another game of my childhood. This time a game that I am most confident of playing the most. Maybe it's the nostalgia talking or tiredness of the marathon, but this game was a breath of fresh air. New Super Mario Bros. Wii was released on the infamous Wii back in 2009, as it became the game to become a top tier 2D Mario game with 4-player co-op. Of course, this was innovative and fun at the time, but the game can come a little short. See, the game has a few issues, mainly the level design. I noticed this while speedrunning the game, some of the levels are just a little bare and empty compared to DS. Depending on who you're asking, the music can be decisive. However, that all pales in comparison to what this game did for the series. It brought New Super Mario Bros. To the big screen, the living room screen. No more can we just squint at our DS screens, we fully embrace the fun of the DS game without a small screen to limit it. Spirit in this game can be summed up by my friend, to which I quote, "All you did was go through a cannon, watch Iki shake his butt, then go into another cannon and beat the game." So speedrunning in this game was a bit odd when saying it like that. But for a tier list setting, this game gets an A tier for me. Having so much time with this game as a kid was fun, but it was still fun to me as an adult. Just wish the cape feather was an option. So, okay, this might show my bias towards something, but this is effectively my favorite game of all time. The reason? Well, let's go through it all. The game was released in 2010 on the Wii, and it had the best E3 trailer when it came out. Looking back on it, it was an amazing trailer knowing that I was witnessing greatness. It had Yoshi, new concepts, more levels, so in a way, it was more of Super Mario Galaxy. Like I said, I didn't grow up with the first game. My childhood consisted of the second game, but I'm glad that it is. Let's go over what makes this game great. At the start of the game, we are taking a storybook-like journey. It goes from 2D and it eases its way to 3D, giving it a more distinct feel. And it gave us a brief introduction to the baby Luma and how it changes to Mario's movement, mainly with the spin. Then out of nowhere, Bowser kidnaps Peach. We are then taken straight to action with Sky Station Galaxy, possibly the best introductory course of all time. After that, we are taken to Starship Mario, which is probably my favorite hub world in a video game. Now this is where the real adventure begins. While this is essentially more Mario Galaxy, the game just makes it more memorable as time goes on. The music in some of these levels are just amazing. My personal favorite being Cloudy Court Galaxy's theme, which also plays in Fluffy Buff Galaxy, my favorite galaxy in the game. Sky Station's Galaxy theme just makes this level 10 times better. Puzzle Point Galaxy is just the countryside's best theme, Wild Glide Galaxy is a beautiful rendition of Sky Station's Galaxy's theme. Melting Monster Galaxy theme just goes so hard that I'm surprised that it's not a final level theme. Throwback Galaxy is just above, reminding me to like 64 DS more than 64. The Starship Mario theme is just a fun theme to have in the background while exploring the hub world. And of course, Bowser's Galaxy Generators theme is possibly the best final level theme ever to be made. Well, next to some of Persona 5 Royals themes. As you can tell, I love the music in this game, as every OST in this game just screams masterpiece. The level design is not far from their themes. Fluff Up Galaxy is just a beautiful level while being a good level to introduce the best item in the game, the Cloud Flower. Bowser's Galaxy Generator is just the best final level, as it is truly a gauntlet that tests your skills that you've learned throughout the game. I'm only giving those levels a shout out, as if I spill more about every level, this will take hours. It will take forever. The new items in this game are just a blast. While many people say that the rock mushroom isn't fun, for what it's worth, it is fun and a new item that makes walls destructible. The Cloud Flower is easily the best item in the game, as it has one simple concept. You can walk on clouds. And make 3 of them, and you can make 3 of your own. The drill is the one item in the party that people would not want to talk about, but the levels that had it made those levels fun to explore. As you beat the game, the credits by far make it worth it, as it makes you feel that the best journey across the cosmos just ended. But damn, was it an amazing one. Not gonna lie, I tear up every time I think about the end credits of this game. The way the credits scroll like a storybook, playing in the background of various levels, and the score that accompanies it, oh my goodness, is an emotional roller coaster. Speedrunning this game was just a blast too. While I did not know the techniques to beat some of these levels quicker, like the infinite flare jump with Yoshi, I had the most fun experiencing this game speedrunning it. And the fact that it only took me a day to beat it gave me hope that the marathon is nearing its end and that it's possible to complete it in a week. After beating this game, I went straight to sleep with a smile on my face and a newfound hope and encouragement to beat the last several games in this marathon. Overall, this game is the highest tier possible. Hell, it gets its own tier above the rest of the games. My bias might be showing towards Galaxy 2, but this game is something I will cherish throughout my life, as I probably will never have an adventure like this ever again. I hope in the future I can look back fondly at this game, knowing that I did speedrun it, 100% it, and gave it my best short review ever. I'm glad that this exists in my life. I can't imagine a world where I did not play this game. I will probably make a dedicated video just about Super Mario Galaxy 2 and how it is just amazing and overall just gushing over it. That would just be a blast to do, honestly. I would be down to make that video. I forgot to record my reaction of beating New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I forgot about that. But also beating Super Mario Galaxy 2. Arguably the best one, and that's with that one done. We're on to the next game, which weirdly enough a lot of people hate, but let's just see why. And as I woke to day 6, a thought came across my mind that the marathon just seems less and less possible to complete. But knowing that I just finished the GOAT that is Super Mario Galaxy 2, I figured that it should be fine and continue onwards. So what comes after a game like Super Mario Galaxy 2? You get this. Yep. Super Mario 3D Land was released in 2011 for the Nintendo 3DS. This game was a gem in my childhood, but as an adult, it is a little bit underwhelming, not gonna lie. Not to say the game is bad, in fact I think it's a suitable game for the Mario series, just a little bit on the lower end of the games. Speedrunning this game was by far the most complicated, as I actively looked through a sprint on my computer to keep up with the speed, The thing with it is that this game is weird, but let's talk about this game a little bit. The way this game feels on the 3DS is not that bad. Mario moves well, levels are fun and unique, and the music is a jam. So what makes this game a letdown? Well, yes, the game is in 3D. Along with the game has just takes from what makes 2D games unique. And while that can make some interesting gameplay, some good examples are like the Galaxy games, the execution for 3D Land was not the best it could have been. Irons are the same functionally in the 2D games as they did in the 3D games. The level designs are much more linear than the Galaxy games, and this game's collectathon was just not an honest one. All of the games are restricted to getting star medals, and this has always bugged me about the game. I like collecting stuff in video games, but the collecting must be done right. If it is forced, like the way 3D Land was, then it is just not fun at all. But I'm willing to address this. This game did something. It was an entry to the series on a hardware many people thought was underpowered, and it brought a solid experience. Just like the game, like Super Mario Land 1 did. It's crazy. What a weird coincidence. So I'm putting this sucker in C tier. While the problems with this game can pile up more and more when I talk about it, the past here is that it was on a system that was taking this to a whole new direction in the series with it. Also, I recorded this tier list much earlier, so my opinion on 3D Land has changed a bit, so ignore the D tier here. It's bumped up to C tier. I'm very sorry here. Yep. Another one done. On to the New Super Mario Bros. 2, I guess. Oh god. This was a mistake, wasn't it? We're almost there. Day 6. We're almost there. So what is the definition of insanity? It's playing the same game every time expecting a different outcome. This only applies to the New Super Mario Bros. Games. I'm literally going insane here. New Super Mario Bros. 2 was released in 2012 on the Nintendo 3DS, and this probably might sound like a joke, but I was losing it. I was just losing it at this point. The spirit in this game was just like any other 2D games. You choose the first world, get into another world, find a secret in like the first half of the levels, skip the world again, then do the first half of that world to find a secret, skip it, then just face the last world with as few levels as possible. Knowing that I would repeat this exact same format for New Super Mario Bros. U just sounds like I'm just going insane. What makes it hard is that New Super Mario Bros. 2 was on the 3DS, a system where the controls are small, the screen is small, everything is small with this game, and the insanity in me is just lucky to know that playing this game just gives me a sense of relief. Why? Well, of how well it gives me Super Mario Bros. 3 vibes. I think that's what the team wanted to feel like, and I think they succeeded. And the abundant number of coins in this game is just fun to collect. This level of collecting is just funny because if we collect so many coins in the first world, we would be close to 100 lives as soon as we get to the second world. As for level design, it is just better than Wii's but not as good as DS's. The music is practically the same with a bit more of an a cappella feel than the past 2 New Super Mario Bros. Games. But what does that mean for the tier list? Look, as much as it was destroying me mentally, I will say this game gets a B tier. Not much more to add, but if just Wii had better level design and if coins were just everywhere. And that's it. That's just basically it. Another one done. This time, New Super Mario Bros. 2. My hair's a mess. Why is it a mess today? Day 6 is heading to a good start. Time for the next game. Yeah, I think I'm going crazy or insane, or I think my insanity is going out of the window with this. New Super Mario Bros. U was released in the same year as 2 for the infamous system, the Wii U. This is only the game I did not get on its native hardware. I got the re-release on the Switch. So what did I think about this game? All I can say about it is that that it is a Mario game. Yep, it sure is. To be honest, this game was a bit underwhelming, even playing it casually when it was released. Speedrunning was just that, a speedrun. The game was not that interesting. This is how much I remember the speedrun. You go to level 2 to find a secret. Then you beat the secret level. Get to the forest. Find the secret level at the Boo House. Beat the secret level. Get to the clouds. Speed towards the final castle, and just beat the levels normally but quickly for World 8. Just screams New Super Bros. Wii again. Like, God. The level design was better, but the better level designs can only go so far if the fans have not played the previous titles, which is everyone, including me. I am done with this game. Very, very dumb. Is there anything else to say about this game? Not really. I mean, the acorn power-up is not that great. Baby Yoshis are by far the most insulting thing since we can take those guys, but not actual Yoshis. The final world was interesting in the sense that it was on Peach's castle. In my opinion, this game gets a B tier, as there's not much to say to a clone of New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I'm sorry, I'm just speaking facts here. Although some people are going to ask this, I did not play New Super Luigi U. Even though it is part of the New Super Mario Bros. Series, it is not a Super Mario game. You play as Luigi. I'm sorry, Luigi. You're best going back to the haunted mansions or hotels to have a better spot and to have a better shot at the spotlight. I'm sorry, my friend. Another one done. This time.
Wait a minute!
So a game is good when going back. The game was and still is fun to play. That is basically my thoughts about Super Mario 3D World. The thing about it is that most of the game is just a blast. Having 3D land as the base and building upon it was a fantastic idea. The game is just a big reminder that Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 were ahead of their time in terms of level design and, well, exploration. The items in this game were just fun to use. Super Bell is a fun item as it allows you to attack like a cat, climb walls, pounce, and the player speed is just a bit faster in the cat suit. The double cherry is a unique item, but is underutilized in this game as it mostly serves as a gimmick item for some levels. Return items for 3D Land return to their full glory. Item game is done great here, and considering that Luigi, Peach, Toad, and Rosalina, spoiler by the way, have their own suits and outfits for each item, it's just a cool detail. The story is a simple one, as Bowser kidnaps the Sprixie princesses of the Sprixie Kingdom. This is so far the 4th game where we venture out of the Mushroom Kingdom, It is totally unclear why, but I want to imagine that Bowser is doing this to pull an Eggman and create his own city to take over the world. Music here is just a bop. Nintendo did the right thing here and used a big live band to compose the music. Nintendo needs to do more of this like God, it just works every time, just have a big band and you'll be fine. My personal favorite is World Bowser's theme, as it just becomes the essence of being in a villain lair, which is very, very, very on theme. The matter of speedrunning is sort of odd. It is the same thing like as 3D Land, except the path here is a bit more complex. You essentially skip worlds that the final castle requires unlock, except for World Castle and World Bowser. You do collect every moon in the levels that are required for the speedrun, but just know the path is easier and cooler if you know where you're going. I did not, and I was just having a speedrun video up to help me with the path. The funniest part of the speedrun was the ending, as you don't save all of them, you miss 2, so the others don't question their friends missing. They celebrate their escape, not paying attention to the other 2 captured friends. But I did not get there, because I fell asleep after some time in the game. As sleep comes to me, I had the idea that this marathon is ending. I just need a few games to go, and it's very possible to complete the last few within a day, if I do them correctly. The morning of day 7 was just a boost of confidence. I will complete this challenge, and I will be seen as the crazy individual that went into this challenge with no prior experience of speedrunning in any of these games. With that in mind, and with not much time to go, I will put Super Mario 3D World in the A tier. Just admit upping the experience from 3D Land was the big ticket here, and I will defend this game until I die. Oh, also it was all released in 2013 on the Wii U. I forgot to mention that. I just forgot to. Three world completed. 3 more games to go. Let's do this. Okay, so why is this game in the marathon when I excluded Yoshi's Island, Wario Land, and New Super Luigi U? This is probably the question that all of you guys have in mind. The answer is, I don't like this game, and it includes a story mode that is weirdly canon to the series, so I'm putting it here. Note here, I am including the original on the Wii U with the sequel, as they are the same game, but they have the weird thing with updates that are either big or small that the first game could have them as DLC. Looking at you, Splatoon 2 and 3. And these games are great. I will say that these games have the weird advantage that you can do anything, but that will give the people credit. And I don't want to do that. So to avoid this, I did Super Mario Maker 2's story mode made by Nintendo themselves. This story mode was fun to do. Not only does it go through the various mechanics that the game offers you in Mario and Maker mode, but it also showcases a lot of the neat gameplay options for players. While the story wasn't the best, it was just a silly story that presents itself as an enjoyable experience. Another thing was the levels were Nintendo made. Some I have a feeling were supposed to be easy, some levels I probably have done in a previous game, or the variation of being weird. I say they nailed the levels here for the story mode. Characters is another thing this game got right. I mean, the characters here are just memorable. You got a Spanish eraser, a brick named Patrick, a cute doggo, Pepe's long lost brother, and a brother that really should major in language arts. The music is from previous games, but not really. Some of the themes that were not from the original games got new themes to go along with them, and the themes are a bop and a half. The speedrun for this game was improvised, as I don't know where I was going, but I knew the end goal: complete the castle. This made me do a lot of backtracking in some levels to get coins, but also just passing levels to gain a lot of coins. For both Super Mario Maker and its sequel, I'm putting both of them in the S tier. Even though these games are basically making your own Mario level / games, the story modes for the sequel is just still a fun time. Both games still have a place in my heart, and I will consider these games as mainline than Yoshi's Island, Wario Land, or New Super Luigi before anything else. And I will not be taking any questions or not be explaining any further. I love Super Mario Maker. Yes! Nearly there. Nearly there. 2 more games. The next one is actually kind of interesting because it's the one game I know how to beat the fastest. Actively.
Here we go.
Okay, so remember when I said I have no speedrunning experience with most of these games? Well, here's the one game I do have experience in speedrunning, at a casual level. Super Mario Odyssey was released in October of 2017 on the Nintendo Switch, a system that was gaining big numbers of sales upon this game's release. Upon release, it became an instant hit and gained universal acclaim. So, by that logic, did I get this game when it was released? Right? Haha. No! This is the thing that made me not get this game. It was inspired by 64. Considering I spoke links about hating 64, I decided not to get it, as I did not see the appeal of getting the game. That is until Christmas of 2019. My cousins wanted to get me something, so I just said, any Nintendo Switch game I don't have, and I'll enjoy it. With the most straightforward answer, I wasn't expecting a big game or something. Come Christmas Day, and I received Super Mario Odyssey from them, and I immediately thought of this. Am I going to hate it? After the Christmas dinner, I sat down and played it. For my first impressions, the game was great. Nothing out of the realm of Mario standards, but something was missing from the experience. I couldn't shake it off. After beating it, I just ran around and collected moons for a bit. I eventually got to the dark side and darker side of the moon, and they are hard, but interesting challenges that that played the same melody as Super Mario Galaxy's World S. After several months, I stumbled upon a YouTuber named Smallant, who was a speedrunner of this game. It was mainly his video on world record progression, and I just started watching his other videos on Super Mario Odyssey. After seeing all of the Super Mario Odyssey speedrunning community, it just felt like magic. Like I was watching a film of ninjas just being awesome at everything. I didn't have the sudden urge to participate in speedrunning. My only other experience was Tetris and Mario Kart 8, and even then they were just for curiosity of how long did I beat them exactly. This is the story of my speedrunning career, albeit a short one, of Super Mario Odyssey. And this is where the game went from, it is a good Mario to, this is just the best Mario game ever. I agree with everyone that Super Mario Odyssey is possibly the best Mario game of all time, as it made every other game look like a test. To gloss over some details, the star of the show was Mario himself. Mario controls the best he has ever been, and with some new moves provided by Cappy, this is the most agile Mario has ever been in the series, and I cannot premise this enough. This is what made speedrunning this game a treat. Even if you down the distance that it is impossible in a jump, attempt it and see how much distance Mario can travel. You'll be amazed at how much he can reach. The story is sort of straightforward with the premise of having Cappy, but it is handled very well with the open exploration of this game. Another thing is the music. While the tracks aren't as grand and majestic as the Galaxy games, these tracks are just bangers as well. To name my favorites, Fossil Falls just sounds like a Galaxy track. New Dawn City is what I would hear whenever I visit a city. Wooded Kingdom's theme is just tropical rock, which is nice. And for the main theme of a Jump Up Superstar is just a track I need to hear from Mario's first ever vocal performance. Lemons Land is always just fun. My favorite kingdom is Cascade Kingdom, with Lake, Wooded, and Luncheon close behind. My least favorite kingdom is just Cloud Kingdom, only because the kingdom is not much to the design as it is just a boss battle arena. Overall, this game just got better the more I played it and the more I speedran it. I think the Mario team nailed it out of the park with this entry. Here's hoping Mario's next 3D adventure, excluding Bowser's Fury of course, is as grand and fun as Odyssey's. Nothing more to say but putting this sucker in S tier. It is not my favorite Mario game, but I can acknowledge that it is one amazing game. Probably my third favorite Mario game, it sounds about right. And no, here I did not record an ending cut for this game as I was just too close to the end that I immediately went to the next game without thinking after the credits. So yeah, have fun with that mess. So what happens during the 35th anniversary of Mario? Well, you get a dedicated direct showcasing some promotions, a battle royale game, 3 games being remastered on Switch, which is more ports than anything else, and a brand new adventure to coincide with the Super Mario 3D World's port to Switch. Wait, what was the last part? Bowser's Fury was announced out of nowhere in the direct, and I was excited to find out what this side game was. While this isn't a mainline Mario thing, I think it serves as a good entry to the series as one. The story is probably the most confusing as Mario gets thrown into this area called Lake Lapcat, and Bowser Jr. usually come here on vacation. And then all of a sudden, Bowser became big mad, and Bowser Jr. wants Mario to help him bring back his father back to normal. Like I said, the most confusing, but it is a side game, so I think the story was not given much thought in the oven. Besides that, everything else was just amazing. Mario moves like he does in 3D World, with an added dive mechanic. Items from 3D World are here and work well with the level design. Level design is just fun, as most of the areas act like small kingdoms from Odyssey, and the music is just great. My other favorite comes from Bowser's themes, which fucking rock here. The main thing about this game is that every now and then Bowser comes from his slumber and attacks the land with his massive size and causes destruction to the player. The theme that plays is possibly the most intense and jam-packed theme ever composed. The metal guitars, the drums, the bass clashing with the dark chorus that is accompanied by a dark orchestra, and mixed voices of a vocalist that just makes Bowser's entrance and stay even more terrifying and fun. I can only appreciate so much of a theme, so I might have to stop here for now. My only gripe with this side game that it is just way too short. I feel like this is as short as the Game Boy games, to be frank. To beat the game, you must collect 50 cat shines. The thing was, getting a cat shine was as easy and simple as getting a moon in Odyssey. Speedrunning in this game was odd. I knew there was a realm, but here's a fun fact: I did not pay attention or attempt it at all. So I went with the strategy from the previous 3 games: just collect as many shines as possible and as early as possible. It also did not help that Bowser was trying to kill me every now and then I just basically called me slow when I reached the 45 to 50 shine count. Bowser did not have to do that, honestly. If Bowser Furious was longer, this game would have been an S tier, but I'll put it in A, but just know that it's an A+ considering how much it has done. I liked it all: the exploration, the music, the levels, the movement, the use of items, and of course Bowser being a constant threat. It's just a lot of fun. And just like with Odyssey, I did not film a reaction of beating this game because I was too tired and took a nap and forgot about it. So, whoops, sorry. And with Bowser's Fury completed, I have done it. I have completed every single mainline Mario game in a week. To be honest, I thought this marathon would have taken a lot longer considering the amount of games and how much it takes for each one to beat, and how life can screw me over. But knowing all that, I pushed forward knowing that I had the blessing of Charles Martinet, my friends believed me, and the hype of Super Mario Wonder. The encouragement just made it worth it. Making this tier list as well shows that my taste in Mario has changed, but I wouldn't mind that. Maybe in the future, after 5 more games have come out, I'll revisit this challenge again. Who knows? Maybe I'll be a lunatic and do 100% on all 21 of these games, which could take me a month or 2. I would die. I would honestly die. Anyway, I would like to thank you for sticking to the end and watching this video. This will probably be the biggest thing I will do for a single series of games, but I am glad it is with the series that I am passionate about. I will look forward to Super Mario Bros. Wonder and experience the joy of it. I also want to thank my friends, family, and Nintendo. My friends for believing in a silly thing that I had no business doing, my family for making this life with Mario a fun one, as I will probably never forget my first Mario game experience, and thanking my parents for just sticking around my love for this series because they get annoyed by this and it's just funny to me. And I want to thank Nintendo. Thank you to the team, Miyamoto, Charles Martinet, and everyone else at Nintendo who brought this series to life. Thank you for bringing joy to many players, and to me. Putting this marathon together just felt the right thing to do after being a Mario fan for so long. And I will continue to be a fan for many more years to come. Here's hoping Mario's 4th anniversary is a fun one. But I hope you guys liked the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!